Hey guys and gals, I'm back again today. I'm going to be discussing an article from North Carolina where some atheist billboards were removed because of death threats. I'll start off with not sure if you can see this from here, but there were a total 2 billboards. The first one said Christianity, sadistic God, useless savior, 30,000 plus versions of truth, promotes hate, and calls it love. And then it says join American Atheists, and it says atheism simply reasonable, and then it gives their website address. And then they had another one for Mormonism. Oh, also on the Christianity one, it had a picture of the Jesus toast. If you haven't heard of it, look it up, you know. Then the second one was on Mormonism. And it says, God is a space alien, baptizes dead people, big money, big bigotry, and shows a guy in shining white clothes. I'm assuming that's a reference to the magic underwear that Mormons wear. No, that's not a joke. They're trying to put up these billboards to sort of challenge the faith of the people running to be our president. And a quote from this article, no subject, no idea should be above scrutiny, and this includes religion in all forms. People have been sending in death threats, and these are the Christian people. This really shows a new level of hypocrisy, because you talk about how your faith is all about loving one another and blah 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 blah, yet you promote all this hate and bigotry, as this billboard says, and I think you're just afraid of the truth. You know that you're being hypocritical, and yet you still continue to do it. Another quote from this article says, from the public relations director, says, it saddens me to think that our country is not a safe place for all people to publicly question religious belief. How can we grow as a nation when censorship exists from its own citizens? The billboards are scheduled to be removed by the end of the day, Thursday, August 23rd, which was 2 days ago from the making of this video. It's been a bad week for free speech in the American Atheists. I represent the American Atheists in the state of Arizona. This is from the guy who wrote the article. And thought that the readers of this blog should know what went on in South Carolina over the past couple of days. Many people are not aware of how difficult it is to get our message out as part of a distrusted minority. It's a bad thing to have to take down our billboards due to threats to the people we contracted to erect them. Not only were the American Atheists, the group, not only were they threatened, but the people who they rented the billboard out from. I mean, that's just ridiculous. It is an amount of pure hatred of everything to just really such a corruption. Nietzsche said that the surest way to corrupt a youth is to hold in higher esteem those who think the same than those who think differently. And I think this really applies here. America is supposed to be a place where free speech is protected. Atheists don't go around taking down religious billboards, no matter how ridiculous they are, because everyone has the right to say what they want, wherever they want. However, you can't start affecting legal things, you can't start affecting advertising space. I mean, Christians don't get death threats from atheists. I've never really heard of a case of that. If I'm wrong, correct me, but it's a ridiculous amount of stupidity, hatred, and intolerance. And even worse was another billboard that was removed that simply said atheists on it and gave a web address. And this was removed by the company who has the billboard, which it is not a private company, it is a government institution, which means it is not legally allowed to discriminate advertising based on religious principles. And the reason they cited for denying it was that they were afraid that Christians were going to vandalize the billboard and they didn't want to have to pay for it. So they were going to either charge them or deny them completely. And in response to this, by the way, that was Pennsylvania, and the county of Lackawanna Transit System rejected the sign. Yeah, unlike Tampa, Colts is not a private business and is a government entity. They are not allowed to reject business based on religion. American Atheists sent them a letter to rescind their decision or face a legal challenge. In Arkansas, the Central Arkansas Transit System tried to have the Coalition of Reason pay a huge bond that others didn't have to pay to ensure against the vandalism that they thought Christians might inflict on their business. The message was the same as ours here in Tucson. Are you good without God? Millions are. As I said by that quote, you really need to respect people who think differently and have real things against them. You can't death threat people. This is freaking America. We have the freedom to say whatever the hell we want. We let the religious people say all this stupid shit. We may call them out on it. We may bring it to public attention. But we never restrict anyone's right to say things. I don't know why atheists are such a distrusted minority. People just seem to think that everyone who's an atheist is completely untrustable because they don't believe in the God you do, or believe in a God at all, and I don't see why that holds such a big swaying point in your life, I'd say. Because you shouldn't judge people on superficial facts. You can't make assumptions about people. It just doesn't work that way. You don't actually know who these people are. Some points about logical problems is that when they say as they started getting negative reaction to their business and all of that crap just for posting the sign that was paid for. They don't specifically endorse the things that they put up. And to have a negative reaction to the business is guilt by association, which is a logical fallacy. I was doing a lot of looking up about this yesterday. And it's just... I'm just sick of all the idiocy, people. It's not that hard to know somebody. You can't just assume that everyone in a certain group thinks the same way. There's a certain level of conformity in America that people tend to stick to, which I will be doing a video on that soon, I hope. I'm dealing with college over the next week, so we'll see when I have a chance to make things and edit things. Basically, my message here today is if you call yourself a Christian and you send out death threats to people just because they disagree with you, you're a horrible person. One Naruto Master, out.